everybody, welcome to our announcement sheet for March. We took a couple, 3 months off because of the weather. There wasn't really much going on from January or February except for what we had. I'm gonna read this to people that have low vision who live in the Harbor Square apartment communities. We're going to talk about these things, and we're going to look at this sheet, this white sheet that has three announcements on it. And on the inside, we'll tackle that first, and then we'll get to the nitty-gritty of what's inside of here. We'll talk about all the dates and all those things that are on there. So listen up, folks. It's the announcements for March 2015 on the second day of March. All right, March 27th, I'm just going to start at the end of the month, 2015. This is where we are sadly to say goodbye to our maintenance worker who we beloved, named Craig. There's no last name, but that's what it says. So I'm just going to go on it. Our maintenance technician is leaving to go do some computer work and to do a job where he's better suited because he is an IT person. He's gone to school, and that's not in here, but I know him. He's like a friend of mine, and he's a good guy. We've become pretty good friends, and hopefully we'll stay in touch after he leaves here. But I wanted to say that, yeah, it's basically what it says here, that he'll be leaving, and then, of course, please come on this day to join in with us for some light refreshments and also a time of both reflection and memories, and just to say some good things and to have fun and to give Greg, along with his family and his children, good wishes. All right, the next thing coming up is Game Day, which will be held, and across Game Day updates. We'll give you a little excerpt. There's a little graphic there. I don't know if you can see it. It says Game Day with flags. It's like a banner. It's like halfway down the page there. All right, so it says Game Day, and then it says Game Day updates. All right, in bold letters. It says, "This is just a friendly reminder, folks, that you are welcome and invited to bring your own games to play with." So make sure you bring some games there, folks, for the procession. And then, of course, we're going to be having service here. There'll be service. Another thing will be going on is a news update for our service coordinator. A nice lady that came, last month. Well, anyway, the services coordinator, here's some news update on her and about what's going on. She says that she's going to be having a social kind of get-together. It's a coffee and Irish trivia social kind of get-together on Thursday, starting on Thursday, March the 17th at 10 a.m. So make sure you note that in your itinerary for the visual and hearing impaired. And then, of course, this will also be the first of a series of many coffee Irish socials and different things to help emphasize the positive and also productive interactions among all the tenants, so you can get to know them and stuff. That's all good there. That's from the coordinator here, service coordinator. That's good we have her. I hope we can keep her around after that grant runs out. I know she's making money, being in the grant. Let's do the calendar, and then we'll dive into this thing. Normally I do this last. But on March the 1st, is Sunday, we have rent is due on the 1st. But like I've always said, and like it says in the lease, that they like you to pay it on the 1st if you can, but it's not really technically due till Thursday the 5th. But they give you till the 5th to pay it, basically, even though it says rent is due typically on the 1st. But most people don't have money on the 1st, so you have some wiggle room. All right? And it says Peanut Butter Lovers Day, whatever that means. I don't think they're going to be doing anything. I think they're just making up days. I think these days are made up somewhere. All right, and then on May the 7th, March the 2nd, it's Dr. Seuss Day. The famous author who wrote the books of Dr. Seuss. Green Eggs and Ham and all those wonderful collections of books that they wrote. Written Dr. Seuss Day, the author there, and it gave him a day. Nothing is planned for Tuesday on the 3rd. Wednesday, nothing either. Thursday on the 5th, though, we go to rent is due if received by 4 p.m. on that day. If it's not received, then it's late. Okay, so I did cover it, Nancy. I got it. Then we got pest control coming to come in your building and spray for bugs. Buildings 6, 7, and 8 are scheduled allotted for that day. On Saturday, we have be sure to turn your clocks up ahead 1 hour. Grandma said, turn those clocks up. Remember, you got to turn them up before you go to bed because of the observance of daylight savings time. Make sure you turn those clocks up before you go to bed now so you don't go to church an hour later, okay? I got to go now. Bye. Okay. Thanks, Grandma. You're welcome. All right, so on Sunday, New Hunter Church of Christ meets at 12:30 up at 423. It's not on the calendar. Of course, there's a lot of things that aren't on the calendar. And we have bingo game in the multi-purpose building. And on Wednesday, nothing's scheduled. Thursday, we have 5 p.m. social get-together for light finger foods and refreshments to talk about all the building and to introduce all the building captains and to ask question and answer kind of open kind of meeting that the coordinator, the services coordinator lady is organizing and arranging. And we'll be there. I won't be there with music, however, but we'll be there to discuss ideas and do dances and all that good stuff like we used to do. We're going to start that up again. And we're going to do a lot of different things. So please come out. Everybody that's willing and able and embodied to come out to that event. Make sure you do so. It would do good for you so you can learn about what's going on and know who your building captain is. So if you got something you want to say to him or her, then you can go right to them or her. Just like it was a mystery. I didn't know that the lady on the end of this building was our building captain in Building 4 until I went last week. I would have never known, because I never heard her talking to us tenants about or organizing or getting information from us or nothing. Because when you're a captain, that's what you're supposed to do is go door to door, get names and numbers so you can call people for events and all that. And it don't seem like this girl's very with it or not very sociable. Not to be mean, but she doesn't seem very sociable. If you're going to be a building captain, you have to be that. If you're not, then someone else has to do it. But that's all in the eyes of the beholder. I hope she's very nice. She's a really nice lady, but she's got to get on the joystick and get the stuff going because when you're a building captain, that's what you have to do, and that way you can communicate things with all the people in your building. All right, now game day is on the 13th. We jump to Friday the 13th. Yeah, and 14 there's nothing. And of course that's a Saturday. 15th, New Hunter Church of Christ meets at 12:30 and 7 o'clock p.m. for morning and our midday service and the evening service. If you're willing and able to come upstairs. Monday, nothing on the calendar. 17 is St. Patrick's Day. Make sure you wear green so you don't get kicked or punched or pinched in the bazooka in the rear end. But no, that ain't going to happen. There'll be a lot of lawsuits. That won't happen because that could be interpreted as harassment. So don't do that, folks. All right. Now 18 is Wednesday. Nothing's playing. And 19, nothing's playing. 20s, nothing's playing. 21, we got National Quilting Day. So all you quilters, if you want to start something new, get those quilts out and get a quilting. Sunday again, we got church at New Hunter Church Christ, 12:30 p.m. for a midday service in the morning and 7 p.m. in the evening. Bingo again. It's the bingo time. Yeah, the 23rd, 2 p.m. Okay, and there's nothing there for a Tuesday. And then Wednesday we got Waffle Day. So if you like waffles, make sure you have waffles on the day. No, but just if somebody liked waffles, so they made a day. They got a day for just about everything. All right. And then we got game day at 3 p.m. That's what we told you about in the insert that was inside the white insert that we were talking about. Now we're going to go in the inside. We're going to look at the inside here. Look at all the good stuff in here. If you can't see that, well, I'm going to read it to you and it makes sense here. We're going to go up here at the top on the left page on the inside of the brochure now. It came just put on your door. All right? And that basically says March 2015 in purple with white letters there with a fancy little neat looking font type face. Okay, it says the 1 minute manager says don't retire but refire! Exclamation point. It's all excited. All right, it says when Ken, who's the author, or co-author, Blanchard, who is the author of the 1 minute manager, happened to meet up with an old friend of his who's a psychologist. His name is Martin Shovitz. They basically both talked about on how, in this new amazing book that they wrote, about how people, when they approach getting older and when they come around the time of retirement. Blanchard, who's 75 years old, now he used a term in his book called refire to help describe basically the very attitudes of when you are approaching, when you're approaching retirement, or what happens after, life after retirement. Approach it with gusto and energy, pizzazz. Says he, and both Shovitz, who's 79 years old, also agrees with him that refire, because he's a psychologist, a retired one of that, but still, he's got good advice to offer here, because it is right on the mark, because that's what I would say as a preacher. Refire, and as a counselor, is a very good way of really seeing each day as a very opportunity to do something for the better, and to prolong your life. Because when you stay active, you live longer, and blood moves around, and all that good stuff. It's in sync, it's connected, and you're moving around, you're socializing with people and tenants and so forth. It says together they both wrote this book called Refire. It says don't retire, but refire. It says make the best, or the rest of your whole life, the very best that it can possibly be, And then it also goes on and tells us about a fictional couple, married couple, who worked, with others to evaluate different aspects of their very lives, both emotionally, psychologically, and spiritually, Shovitz, which is a psychologist, says that people, and he notes here, that people who are getting towards, who are going towards something, have the very opportunity to live a more fuller and productive lives. That's what he says here in his, what's here in the excerpt here. It says in their book entitled, Blanchard also, along with Blanchard, used a fictional couple too, because when you tell a story, people can suspend their inner critic. I mean, they can be the worst critic sometimes. So sometimes it's best just to make up a couple, so you're not so hard on yourself when you're writing about yourself or writing about couples, real people. So, and then watch out what happens next when you read this exciting new book that was written by both Blanchard and Shovitz. All right, to see what happens to these very characters in the wonderful book that they wrote. All right, basically detaches, away. Basically that goes away. It says, quoted in the USA publication, Blanchard's basically best advice is get out of your house, get out of your comfort zone, do something. Take a class at a local college or university, which will put you in the mainstream of things and get you in a new setting, get your life pumping and everything, your brain popping, and with many different types of people and ages and group. Because you'd be surprised, a lot of older people do go to school today. Even when they're retired and live in a place like this, they do. They go to school, they want to get educated, they want to do something different with their life. Sometimes when you're older, it doesn't mean you stop working. It's just another way on how to maybe reinvent a new life. And maybe start working doing something different because you went to school and got a degree. And if you're able to do that, I would do it myself because I do it. All right. Now, the two men basically have formed the very last minute gang. That's the name of the book. Gang. All right. And of course, it's an informal group of a dozen friends, or you could say couples, who have agreed that at the very last minute someone calls and invites you over to do something. Say, what are you going to do? Well, unless you are previously committed into some other engagement, of course, you should go and say first of all, yes. So And then on the right-hand page, we've got a crossword puzzle. And of course, I already read that. That's still part of the word. It's a crossword puzzle. And it basically says, find all of these words in the puzzle below. Okay? All right, so that's basically what it says. And it gives you like, they can be across, down, diagonal, forward, and or backwards. So, if you're into that, knock yourself out. But don't really do that. And then over on the right page, it has another crossword puzzle. Okay, and the same thing applies to that. And the answer key is down in the lower right-hand corner. So if you want to look at the answers, you're going to blow it up. See that yellow puzzle there? All right, so basically that's all the stuff for March the 2015. Hey, we got through it. And remember, I forgot one thing. We did get through it, but there's one more page I didn't read to you. All right, it says, please fix it. Now, it's not saying for you to fix it. No. Basically, listen up. Basically what it says is that if something needs to be fixed in your apartment, make sure to please call it in. Call the office instead of just going around and stopping at, the maintenance crew, says while they are out going around about doing their jobs that they're doing there in the complex. And that also applies for the grounds crew. If there's something you got a question about, call the office and say, help, I need somebody, help, I need anybody, help, please, help me, and let them know what's going on. I got a faucet that's leaking. Oh, I got bugs in my kitchen. I hope not. I got a leaky roof in my kitchen. Oh, the pipe is leaking and rope is creaking. Oh, everything is leaking. No, I hope not. But if you have anything of that, I hope not. But just make sure you basically, let them do the work. Remember that they're working on other issues that are going on in the apartments. So, just think about that when you see them walking around. Just call in on the office at the 730-1284 if you live in Harbor Square. Don't be crank calling, okay? Says they are currently, busy at work, and this goes also, like I said, for the groundskeeping staff. All right, now remember daytime savings time. Remember, Grandma reminded you of that. Begins next Sunday, so make sure you move your clock, up an hour. 1 hour ahead before you go to bed, okay? All right, now make sure to wear green on St. Patrick's Day, okay? Now, there's a little story about that. It says people who were in the earlier days used to believe that St. Patrick's Day, back in the early 1700s, believed at one time, really believed that leprechauns would pinch anyone that they could see that was not wearing green. So, as time went on, and not to be seen, they would wear green. They would have party goers started wearing green as part of their attire, what they wore in the wardrobe, so that they would blend into the surrounding scenery. It says it's a tradition that is still carried out today. It says although the part about the leprechauns, however, has pretty much gone by the wayside, but at least you can have an imagination, right? So we hope at least of our residents here are not bothered by those pesky leprechauns. All right, here's a message from the office. This is a very important message, so listen up, take notice. Stop signs. Stop means stop. Like Simon says, stop. Okay, so when you see that stop sign, it's a little seven-sided kind of figure there, a little icon thing. Make sure you follow that thing. It's not a picture or a diagram. It's something you need to follow. They placed them at the entrances at the apartments to give you a heads up to stop, because a lot of people were sighted not stopping and coming into the apartment complex way too fast. And so they had to put that out for safety precaution and for security reasons. and that way it'll minimize the risk and insurance and probabilities and lawsuits for really bad drivers and people that are driving real fast like that need to pay attention to rules. Otherwise, they shouldn't be driving. Okay. Because I don't drive and I know to stop at a stop sign, and I know to stop at an entrance without a stop sign even if it ain't up. So you need to do the same thing because the rules apply to you as well. And some people have the attitude that rules don't apply to them today. Our government's like that a lot. Well, there's people like that live here too and in other complexes as well. So make sure we work together as a team and let's all stop at the stop signs where they're designated, where they're posted, okay? All right, so that's basically it. We did it, and we went through this whole thing. The community people, players that are on the team, we got Nancy O'Donnell, property manager. We got Kristen Lindsay, I guess that's how you say it, who's assistant property manager. Then we got Sean Canty, meaning SC. I guess South Carolina? No, I don't think so. But Sean Canty is just short, SC, if you see it. It's 804-789 9654. Then we got Craig Collins, who's going to be replaced by somebody, maintenance technician. Then we also have Carrie Davis, who is groundskeeper. Then we have customer care. If you got a question or a complaint, call this number 1-855-222-7348. Okay, and you got Hanover emergency number. That's 804. That's a non-emergency number. 804. You call it for non-emergencies. 365-6140. All right, and then we got service coordinator. Fax number. You can call her at 804-789. That's a Comcast line. It's 9705. And then office hours, unless there's bad weather, inclement weather, these hours will stand, or holidays, are Monday through Friday, normally scheduled. Remember that one work closes at noon at the end of the month of March on the last day. Okay, so pay attention to that. Take note of that, but normally this is what they would normally be outside of those circumstances. From 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. And Saturday closed and Sunday closed. Okay? All right, so we did it. We did it. Yeah, we ran. This is the month of March. Yeah. At Harbor Square Apartments. Take heed and make sure you refer to this source on the internet. Thanks a lot. Donate down below. Subscribe. Use your fingers if you got them, or use your mouth or feet, or however you do it. And please tell people about us, and let people know. Let's show the noise. We did it. We did it. Okay, there you go for the announcements for March. Announcements. All right, there we go. See you next month in April for another announcement.